Did you know that 75% of people believe they have a unique idea, but research shows that 90% of new inventions are based on existing ideas? This shocking statistic reveals a truth that many of us overlook. Originality is often an illusion. In a world overflowing with information, it's hard to create something entirely new. Instead, most of our best ideas come from remixing what already exists. Why does this matter? Because understanding this can change how you think about creativity. If you stop chasing after the mythical, original idea, you can focus on making meaningful connections between different concepts. The result? Fresh perspectives and innovative solutions that are truly impactful. In this video, we'll explore the myths of originality, the power of remixing, and the hidden tools that can unleash your creativity. You'll learn how to embrace constraints, tap into your subconscious, and turn failure into your greatest ally. Get ready to discover that the secret to creativity isn't about being unique, it's about being resourceful. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Myth of Originality. We often think that to be creative, we need to come up with something entirely new. But here's the truth. Every idea is a remix of something that came before. Think about it. Every invention, work of art, or breakthrough borrows from history. Pablo Picasso famously said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." He didn't mean theft in a literal sense, but rather taking existing ideas and transforming them into something unique to you. Steve Jobs shared a similar mindset when building Apple. He openly admitted, "We have always been shameless about stealing great ideas." And the results speak for themselves. Apple products weren't the first of their kind, but they were certainly some of the most innovative. In fact, research shows that 90% of new patents are actually built on pre-existing ones. The real creative genius lies in how you combine, rework, or rethink what already exists. Take the concept of social media. Facebook wasn't the first social platform. MySpace, Friendster, and others existed before it. But Facebook took ideas that already worked and improved them, adding unique twists like the newsfeed. The result? It became the dominant platform. So, the takeaway? Don't stress about being completely original. The best ideas are often about finding new ways to combine and enhance what's already out there. If you're enjoying these insights, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more creative strategies. Chapter 2. Remixing Reality: How True Creators Work. If you look closely, you'll see that most great innovations are just clever combinations of old ideas. This strategy of remixing is a key to unlocking creativity. It's not about inventing from scratch but about blending different influences in new ways. Take music, for example. Did you know that 60% of chart-topping pop songs today use the same 4 chords? It's not that musicians are running out of ideas, they're just finding new ways to remix familiar sounds. The magic happens when they combine these familiar elements with fresh rhythms, instruments, or vocals to create something that feels brand new. The same applies to writing. Best-selling author Austin Kleon wrote in "Steal like an artist, nothing is original." Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuels your imagination. The goal isn't to plagiarize, but to gather ideas from everywhere: movies, books, nature, conversations, and remix them into something that reflects your unique voice. The internet, of course, is the ultimate tool for remixing ideas. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are full of people remixing content, taking trends, adding their personal twist, and turning it into viral gold. The lesson here? Don't hesitate to draw from existing ideas. Your creativity comes from how you adapt, combine, and make them your own. Chapter 3. The Creative Thief's Toolkit. Now that we've embraced remixing, how can we actively do it? That's where the Creative Thief's Toolkit comes in. This is your strategy for gathering ideas and turning them into something new. The best creators are constantly absorbing influences from a variety of sources, and you should be too. Start by widening your sources of inspiration. Don't just look to your own field for ideas. For example, if you're a designer, study architecture, nature, or even fashion. Research shows that cross-pollination of ideas from different fields often leads to the biggest breakthroughs. One study from the University of Chicago found that innovators who draw from diverse fields of knowledge are 22% more likely to create something groundbreaking. Next, keep a swipe file. This is a collection of ideas, quotes, images, or anything that sparks your creativity. The key here is to curate, not just copy, but to store these bits of inspiration so you can draw from them when you're ready to create. Did you know that author J.K. Rowling collected notes and random thoughts for Harry Potter over 5 years before writing the first book? That's the power of a well-built swipe file. Another tactic is to use mashups. Take two unrelated things and force them together to see what new ideas emerge. For example, think about the idea of combining virtual reality with fitness. This led to companies like Peloton, which brought the concept of community, gaming, and physical exercise into one product. Mashups push you to think outside the box by combining elements that don't seem to fit at first. And finally, take your time. The human brain is a brilliant problem solver when given enough space. The eureka moments often happen when you step away from actively trying to solve the problem. Studies from the journal Psychological Science show that your subconscious mind works on problems even when you're not thinking about them directly. So don't force it. Take a walk, let your mind wander, and see what bubbles up. If you found these tips helpful, consider subscribing for more insights on unleashing your creativity. Chapter 4. The Power of Constraints. Why less is more. It might sound strange, but having too much freedom can actually make you less creative. Think about it. When you have endless options, it's easy to get stuck in decision paralysis. On the other hand, when you work within limits, you're forced to find inventive solutions. There's research to back this up. A study from Northwestern University found that constraints actually increase creativity because they push people to look beyond the obvious. It's like the old saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention. Some of the most iconic designs came out of limited resources. Take Twitter, for example. Its original 140-character limit forced users to be concise and creative with their words, which helped shape its unique culture. Another great example is Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham. Did you know the book was written using just 50 different words? Seuss had made a bet with his publisher that he could write a compelling story with severe word limitations. The result? One of the most beloved children's books of all time. Constraints also applied to other creative fields. In the world of art, many painters like Piet Mondrian used strict rules for themselves, limiting colors and shapes, to create stunning abstract works. The takeaway? Give yourself a challenge, set limits, and watch how your brain finds unexpected ways to make it work. Chapter 5. The Subconscious Mind, Your Hidden Creative Engine. Creativity doesn't always happen when you're actively working on something. In fact, some of your best ideas are probably bubbling up in the background without you even realizing it. The key is learning how to tap into the hidden power of your subconscious mind. Have you ever had a great idea pop into your head while you were in the shower, or right before you fell asleep? That's no coincidence. Studies show that our brains are constantly processing information, even when we're not consciously thinking about it. In The Eureka Factor by John Cunios and Mark Beeman, they explain how the brain's default mode network helps us connect unrelated ideas, which often leads to those aha moments. Research also shows that taking breaks, or even sleeping on a problem, can lead to creative breakthroughs. One study found that people were 33% more likely to solve a complex puzzle after a good night's sleep than those who worked on it continuously. This is why artists, inventors, and writers often emphasize the importance of downtime. Salvador Dali, the surrealist painter, even had a trick for tapping into his subconscious. He would fall asleep holding a spoon, and when it dropped from his hand and hit the floor, he'd wake up immediately, often with new ideas fresh in his mind. So, how can you use this to your advantage? Make time for rest and relaxation, and allow your mind to wander. Activities like walking, meditating, or daydreaming can give your subconscious the space it needs to work through creative challenges. You'll be surprised by what surfaces when you stop trying so hard to force an idea. Chapter 6. Embrace failure, the secret weapon of every creative genius. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's the path to success. This is one of the biggest lessons every creative person needs to learn. It's easy to think that failure is a sign you're not cut out for something, but the truth is, it's often the best teacher. Take Thomas Edison, for example. When he was working on the light bulb, he reportedly tried over 1,000 different materials for the filament before finding one that worked. When asked about his repeated failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His ability to keep going after each setback was what ultimately led to his groundbreaking success. But it's not just inventors. Writers, too, know the value of failure. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before Harry Potter was finally picked up. Imagine if she'd given up after the first few rejections? Today, the Harry Potter series is one of the best-selling book franchises of all time, selling over 500 million copies worldwide. Failure doesn't just teach you what doesn't work, it also helps you refine your ideas. Studies from Stanford University show that when people are encouraged to take risks and fail, they're more likely to come up with innovative solutions. This is because failure pushes you to rethink and experiment in ways you wouldn't have considered otherwise. So, what does this mean for your creative process? Don't be afraid to fail. In fact, expect it. The key is to learn from each failure and use it as a stepping stone towards something better. Embrace the mindset that every misstep is bringing you closer to your next breakthrough. If you found this journey through creativity valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more insights and tips to help unleash your creative potential.